It's unfortunate that it came in during a government shutdown, which is unfortunate. But when I came into the state Senate of Pennsylvania, it was during a budget impasse. So it's almost par for the course with me.
So this is your fault.
I'm part of the solution.
At the beginning of 2018, Guy Reschenthaler's district didn't even exist in its current form. After the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said the state's district map was illegal, a brand new 14th district in western Pennsylvania was born. The district was made up largely of folks who elected Conor Lamb in a huge Democratic upset in a special election. The flip to Reschenthaler wasn't exactly a surprise. He's a lawyer who, after he joined the US Navy JAG Corps and volunteered to prosecute terrorists in Iraq, went on to a spot in the Pennsylvania State Senate. I met up with the new congressman at the Library of Congress to talk during his first few weeks in office and in the midst of the longest government shutdown in history.
This building in general, I think the theme of it is really about the triumph of knowledge and education and learning over ignorance. And it's also about America's place in the world.
What kind of congressman are you hoping to be?
Well, I want to be known as very reasonable, someone that's pragmatic, someone who reaches across the aisle to get things done.
What are you most looking forward to as a congressman?
Just moving good legislation through, getting good bills passed. I think there's a lack of victims' rights in the criminal justice system. I worked on that in the state Senate. We're in the process of passing a constitutional amendment. So I think that there's room in the federal system for the same kind of legislation. I think that so oftentimes we forget that aside from the truly innocent defendant, the only person in that courtroom who chose not to be in that courtroom is the victim. So we need to make sure that we focus on the victim.
The redistricting in Pennsylvania kind of created this new district. Why do you think the people who voted for Conor Lamb kind of flipped and decided, you know what, this is the guy we want to go with this time around?
I think if you look at Conor Lamb's background and my background, they're very similar. We're both roughly the same age. We're roughly from the same area of Pittsburgh. We're both very pragmatic, and I think that the voters want somebody who can reach across the aisle and get things done.
You guys have a very big freshman class, the most diverse, the youngest ever in history. How has that group been interacting, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or independents?
There's a lot of willingness with the freshman class to work together. We socialize when we're not in session, so I'm very optimistic. I think we're used to working in groups. When we were in school, as you know, we're about the same age. It was really focused on working with others, cooperating, and moving toward a common goal. I think a lot of millennials want to do that, and there's no reason why we would stop doing that once elected to Congress.
Do you think we're as divided as Twitter and you know, the talking heads in media? Do you think we're as divided as it seems?
No, I don't. I think that we have to understand that social media is problematic for a lot of reasons. One issue is that viewpoints are reinforced because of certain algorithms. So individuals focus on just one viewpoint rather than all the viewpoints that are going on.
That is only an answer you would hear from a millennial congressman, right? Because there is an understanding of how social media works. Do you think that provides hope for the future of Congress being better to actually do work?
I think it does. I think that more millennials coming into office is a good thing. We have to remember that Congress should reflect the public of the United States. And millennials, I believe, are the biggest demographic right now in terms of consumer products, right? So as we have the millennials coming into positions of importance in business and government, it would only make sense that we would elect more millennials. We view the world differently. And again, I think that we have the ability, just like the World War II generation did, to look beyond party labels, to look beyond what divides us and look to what the mission is and where we need to work to help people and to promote America's interest.